I'm Nancy Kowalik, your Main Street real estate agent. And I'm sitting here with
Kathy McEvoy.
Kathy McEvoy, who is my head of client care services here at Coastal Guaranteed Realty, the Nancy Kowalik Group. And the reason I brought Kathy in, so Kathy, I've known Kathy for a long time. We met before our kids, I think, swimming.
Ridgewood Preschool, actually.
Oh, God, Ridgewood Preschool. Oh, wow. That's right. So we've known each other a long time. Let's just put it there, right? My daughter just turned 25. So we've lived through a lot together. We've done a lot together. And I think it's interesting because when I decided to grow the business and I started kind of casting my net out there to find different people, I came across this one. And when Kathy started talking to me about her background, so I'll just back up a little bit. We all at certain points were stay-at-home moms. We stayed at home with our kids and felt like there were certain times that were fundamentally important to be there for them.
For sure.
And so at certain points, we all kind of had to go back to work to make sure we could help with college and the expenses of having those kids, right? So, but Kath was a stay-at-home mom when we started talking about this, and when we started talking about her background, when she didn't believe it, I was kind of like, so Kath, tell me about your background before real estate.
So I worked for 20 plus years for a mutual fund company, Delaware Investments, and I did a variety of different tours throughout that. I started out actually taking trains. So that was where I began my journey, which I didn't know I'd end up here again, but here I am. And then I did project management for them and really testing out different sites. And so that was fun. But then when the kids got to a certain age, I really wanted to be at home with them. Fast forward, looking for something because the kids were starting to head off to college and, you know, how that goes. So a little bit more free time on my hands, but also needed to get back to work and back to reality that, time to pay the bills.
Exactly. And so as we've grown, you've been with me for how long?
7 years.
7 years. So the client care position for a while, you were it.
Yep.
You're
Client solo.
Right, client solo. So client care really is the first point of contact with the company, aside from the receptionist. Someone who raises their hand and says, hey, I'm interested in buying or selling. We actually have someone call back very quickly. And so available a lot of hours. But really quickly so that we can find out, kind of sift and sort, Mr. Seller, Mr. Buyer, what is it that we can help you with? And kind of to help determine the next course of action, who they're going to come in contact with and what the process is. We have lots of protocols in place, which we've developed. But it's one of those things that Kath was always kind of that first point of contact if it wasn't someone we met outside the office. And so she would, with a lot of compassion, kind of try to figure out, what the next course of action was. And so technically as an appointment setter, but there's a lot more that goes into, and client care really is the base of all of it.
Not everybody, when you have that first conversation, is ready to meet with an agent, right? So it's a nurturer as much as it's get that appointment set and get in front of one of our wonderful agents. So it's really, it was a process, and it was a process that was new for me because I knew nothing about real estate other than the 2 houses that we had bought prior to, which was, you're kind of going through the motions and you don't even realize what happened. It's like speeding train. So taking that step back and really getting to know people and wanting to help them through the process and make sure they had a good experience and best foot forward when I handed them off to one of our agents to make sure that I kind of set the groundwork for the rest of the journey. And usually, a lot of times they're like, oh, Nancy. And I'm like, no, Kathy, but I throw so many names at you. It's all good. So it's fun. And a lot of times when the agents will meet them, they'll be like, are you Kathy? So making it as seamless as possible, I guess, is what I like to do, and make sure that they're ready for that journey and, just kind of preparing them along the way and telling them what great agent they'll be working for, and really matching personalities too. I said my next job's going to be at matchmaker because I'm really good at this.
Yes, we do. We match people with their perfect home. It's all love. It's a beautiful thing. And so to touch on that a little bit, Kathy talks about personality. And so one of the interesting things that we do here is we actually do an assessment with all of our people that work here. It's called a DISC assessment, D-I-S-C, DISC assessment. We need to kind of look at what type of personality we are, and then also what type of personality that client is. We try and match you with someone who's going to be at your same pace, your same rhythm, the same things are important to you, because everybody's different. It's not 100%, but it really helps make a difference in that journey, because it is that. It's not a, hey, I'm going to introduce you to the perfect house. I'm going to open a door, you're going to sign a contract, and away you go. It's a long haul. You're in it for 60 days, sometimes longer. And, that process, you want it to be with someone who, again, has the same sense of priorities that you do, and really matching personalities is a big deal.
Right. And just knowing that, you feel supported and you feel like they're really there for you and not just to open a door, because that's not what we're about. Anybody can open a door. It's the rest of it that really is important. At least that's how we feel.
Absolutely, really important. So, so in my process or in my journey as leadership here, and developing and working with other people in leadership, I've had the occasion to have a couple of interesting conversations. And Kathy and I had one recently that was really, it still almost brings me to tears because it was such a great, I was blown away. So I asked her if she would share some of that today, and she said she would. And the core of everything we do, 5-star service, but we want to change lives in a positive way. And so I'm going to kind of segue into that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So I'm sure many of you are the same way. Family is everything, right? So just kind of getting back into the workforce is not easy. And Nancy took a chance on me because like I said, I never had anything to do with real estate. So really having that first conversation and starting this, because it was fairly new, it was unnerving. But where I am now, I'm able to do things for my kids. Obviously my husband works too, but between the two of us that we wouldn't have been able to do a few years ago. And it just brings such joy to be able to do that. And my kids, don't even know half of it, but of course we do, and how important it is. And I told Nancy, you basically changed my life because my kids are everything to me. So
we both get choked up over it. I mean, it's incredibly gratifying to make a difference like that. I mean, we're all getting, one of my core beliefs is that you get enough people to their goal, you will get to your goal. And so in everything that I do goal setting with everybody. In fact, this year I finally started adding every department, but I would always do goal setting with the salespeople and say, what do you want to do? And how can I help you? And then in turn, that helps the brokerage. And so this year we started doing it with everybody in all departments. And it was part of these things that, helping Kathy and helping Karen and helping George and helping every other person in the departments get to their goals is ultimately what is growing us so fast. And that same core belief that everybody else has here, and to me, hearing from someone that works with me that I've made a difference and that this brokerage, which is some of many, many amazing parts, has made a difference in lives. It's everything. It's everything. So thank you for sharing that. I really, really appreciate that. I like to think that we make a difference in all the lives we touch, right? So
I do. I feel like we do, but I don't know. The group of people that works here are so special. Like, I've worked at a few different businesses and had some really good experiences and friends that I continue to be friends with, but this is such a family feel from all of the agents because you have so many different personalities and just a melding of just all these special people that really want to do a good job for their families, but also for their own self-worth and self-belief. And I feel like we just all kind of get each other and really want to do what's best.
Now it's an amazing culture. So I always set up, that idea of it's second mile service. So the first mile is expected, do your job, right? And there are times I scratch my head and I look at other people around me and say, okay, we're never going to do things that way, right? That's not how we do it here. So first mile service is expected. That is what is expected, but second mile service is what we aim for, and I believe we deliver on here at this office and in our team. And so that culture is permeated. Everybody actually within the office helps each other. I'm constantly amazed at someone raising their hand and saying, "Hey, I need help." I'm not amazed that I need help. What I'm amazed at is how many people rush in to help, and that our clients feel it, the staff feels supported. Our families feel it, because honestly, if something, God forbid, does happen with your family that you need to have attention to, everybody else will fill the void and make sure that you're supported. So that to me is huge. So as head of client care, we do that for our clients. We create clients for life, but honestly, we do that with it as well. So I know that as we've grown, so my mandate is a certain number of appointments every week, and we want to make sure that there's a good show rate. And so with all of these things, I'm constantly throwing new things at you.
Yes. Yes, she is.
And sometimes at a faster pace than others. Like as I reach a certain age, they go, God, I have so much more I want to do. So my poor team, they're like, oh, here she comes again.
Did you see me?
But she always keeps a smile on her face.
I keep my invisibility.
But it's amazing what we're doing, because we actually now we have three full-time people,
Full-time and 3 part-time.
3 part-time.
And coming back soon.
Yes, and one coming back soon, and we're growing other people. So this client care department, again, first point of contact in many cases, and then also nurturing. If you're making some inquiries and you're a year out, maybe we can help with a few things, and what can we bring to help serve you, and then they stay in touch until it's ready for us to sit down and talk to you. And that process is huge. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's the core. I mean, really, if my client care department's doing well, the entire office is doing well.
Right. And I just, on a separate level, just in talking to different people, it's just so like inspiring, like some stories and just where they are in their journey. And it's like, we want to help them. We never want anybody to feel like we're overbearing or stalking, but we also, it's that balance between what's enough phone calls and what's not enough. And I don't know, it's just all a learning process, and every call is so organic and unique that's interesting to me too. And I don't know, I've met through the phone, never actually seen a lot of really good people. So
there's always some sort of turning point in life. They come to us because something good or bad's going on. There's a lot. And we do get to hear those stories. And of course, they stay confidential. Sometimes we may relay them so that there's a sensitivity dealing with the client. Certainly that's important. But beyond that, it stays confidential. But I think the inspiring part is how many good people there are out there.
Yes.
How many people are genuine and trusting, which is why I'm always like, God, we have to get them first. because some people are so genuine and trusting. And my gosh, we really just want to make sure that they have the best possible knowledge of the process going forward so that everything falls in their favor. And when something goes awry, that there is good, strong leadership to make sure everything comes out the way it needs to. And sometimes the deal needs to fall apart for it to be the right deal, right? For a client, sometimes those things need to happen, but it's really important to have the guidance and be able to make those choices.
We never want anybody to feel like they're in it alone, and we do everything. That's why we do this whole team thing. And even though I step away once the appointment's, on its way, I still get calls, and I'm always, right on top of it, back with the agent. Like because our agents are out at other appointments and they are busy, but we never are too busy for the original client. And that's just so important all the way around, from Karen to Nancy. I mean, they're both still involved in the day-to-day, even though, everything's always going crazy and they have their hands in so many different pots. It's pretty amazing. So
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, but it's fun. Yeah.
And we've even, for a little bit of stress reliever, we have tequila Fridays, but that's another subject. Exactly. We'll pull you into that later. But I just really wanted to kind of, as I'm pulling back the curtain on this industry, we do things differently here than most. Most places don't have a client care leadership or anybody in that day-to-day operation. And it's, again, we're a service industry looking for 5-star service. We asked ourselves, I should say maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I literally said, what if we only got paid in 5-star reviews? Not cash, but 5-star reviews. And honestly, that metric has changed the way we do things.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's just amazing.
It is. And that 5-star service means you, the client, has to say yes end to end. It was a fantastic experience. And by the way, there will always be a glitch of some kind. With rare exception, does everything go smoothly? And that's when you really need someone who's a trusted professional in your corner when something goes a bit sideways, so that there's the best possible outcome. But
well, and that's Nancy pulling the curtain behind, right? Because of course there's going to things go wrong. If everything looked perfect, everybody knows. If everything's perfect, something's going on behind the scenes. So just knowing that ahead of time, even having especially for first-time buyers, we go through all these points so we minimize as much of the surprises as we can, because it's impossible to predict everything that's going to go on, but at least we at least try and prepare you.
Exactly. It's kind of like an education. I mean, honestly, some of our newer team members came from the teaching background, and they're like, and they're like, oh my God, think of it as teaching, because you're teaching somebody the process, because it is involved. It is not, and there's a lot of steps. And a lot of times, especially with first-time buyers, their eyes glaze over when you tell them all the steps. And it's like, okay, next 2 or 3 steps that you have to worry about is this. Right. And then we kind of check back in to make sure we haven't overwhelmed.
Right. And someone's there to support you. It's just, I can't say that enough. It's huge.
It is. And your salesperson is going to be an amazing person, your realtor. But then we also, the client care typically will check back in just to say it wasn't a good fit,
right,
what's going on, so that there's a second set of second voice there in case there's any concerns, which I think is exponential. You can always call the broker, but Kath has that relationship with the person she's with. And exactly, we got you. It's always about that. So any other thoughts you'd like to share with us?
No, from my personal perspective, I always get sad when someone doesn't want to work with us, and I know, there's so many options out there, but I know we're going to take the best care of you. So I have that in my mind, because I guess I'm a nurturer by nature. Who knew? But I don't know. That's how I feel.
That's what I've always said. We have to get to them first, because if they go somewhere else, they're going to have a less than experience. And that's just our personal opinion here, because we are so passionate about what we do. We want to translate that to you as the client. or as the realtor, whatever that needs of support is, right? So it's really important that you understand that. So I want to thank so I dropped this under this morning saying, hey, we're going to have a conversation in front of a camera. Remind you. But really, most people are going to be listening to this on a podcast. But if you are happening to tune in, this is just, we had the fun ability to do something today. And thanks for letting me take you away from the first rule. I appreciate you. Again,
Appreciate you.
thank you. I'm Nancy Kowalik, your Main Street real estate agent, here with Kathy McEvoy, my client care manager. And please go out and make it a great day.